Okay, this is a review of the DCF901 compact 12 volt impact wrench from Dewalt. It's 1/2-inch drive, and it seemed really impressive when I was using it. I don't think most people who buy this are going to be using it for what you saw in the video. But if you wanted to give it a shot on an axle nut, it probably could do it. Once you get to those really tight suspension bolts, this thing is not going to cut it. It hits really soft and it's just not that powerful. You could see it in the video. I think most people who buy this it's probably gonna end up with a lot of chrome on the end, because it is just that kind of lightweight impact and really tiny, not heavy at all. It is shorter than the impact driver by a bit, and you're talking without the adapter, so it's a lot shorter, and it's about the same height, because I know a lot of people use this impact driver on their cars for lighter stuff. Now, I think the issue with this is, oh yeah, if you notice, there's no speed selector on this thing. So obviously someone at DeWalt works on cars, because you really never use those speed selectors on when working with the nuts and bolts with these impacts. When you're using the impact driver, I use this thing all the time when working on wood, but when working on cars, I don't remember the last time I selected a speed 1 or 2 or 3. I just used this really smooth variable trigger. And especially on these smaller compact impacts, they don't have a lot of power, so it's not like you're going to snap a lug nut or anything like that. I can understand on the higher power impacts having that speed selector is pretty good, because they can go pretty fast and you could end up snapping some fastener, but on this thing you don't need it, and it gets rid of some clutter, and they probably made it to save some space right there. So that's that on that end. So for sure someone uses impacts who designed this. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say maybe no one uses impacts who designed this, because it has absolutely the worst friction ring in the business. And this is not the first time I'm bringing up a DeWalt friction ring issue. I made 3 videos just about this on the DCF901, and I went out and I bought my own pin detent anvil, opened up a brand new DCF901 and put it in, and I said that it was easier to use a DeWalt pin detent versus using their friction ring, because it is designed so poorly that clearly someone was not paying attention, and it's just slapped together, because either the groove, the clip, or the O-ring, one of the 3 are a couple of thou too big, and what ends up happening is this ring ends up getting locked in the socket, and you need a screwdriver or something to pry it off. And this only happens with DeWalt. Okay, there's no one else that has a friction ring this bad, poorly designed. So here is the 19 in all the videos. It's used up. All right, gonna put it on. Okay, now to pull it off, you'll see it gets locked right at the end, right there, and you gotta pull. Okay, so this is a used socket. Now let's put on a new socket, newer socket. newer. It gets locked at the end. You gotta pull. Okay, here's a brand new Tecton 18. Okay, it's on. Gets locked right there, and then you end up having to pull it off. This is not how a friction ring should be. Should be just friction, not locking. So here is a snap fresh impact wrench. You're like, who is snap fresh? You will learn soon enough. Here's a brand new socket. Okay, that's it. No pulling. Okay, now why is that an issue? If I'm taking off a knuckle and there are 4 different sizes of fasteners and I gotta change sockets 4 times, I gotta pull this thing every time, and it's slower, but even worse, it's harder on your shoulder and your elbow. When you gotta pull and yank that thing every time, it's a pain in the butt. Look at this thing. 1, pull off, just with your thumb. No shoulder action. Slides right off. Here's one. This one's a thick one. Look at that. All right, perfect, beautiful. This is how Milwaukee, Ingersoll Rand, all of them are like that. The Makita that's missing the O-ring, exactly like this.